First on BBC One, the Sunday lunchtime news with Luxumy Gopal.
Good afternoon. The man suspected of carrying out an attack on a Christmas market in Germany has been remanded in custody on charges including murder and attempted murder. 4 women and a child were killed and 200 people were injured, more than 40 of them critically. The suspect is a Saudi doctor whom police say had posted Islamophobic comments online. Anna Foster has travelled to the suspect's hometown and is there for us now. Anna.
Well, Taleb al-Abdel-Mohsen lived here in Bernburg for 20 years since he came to Germany in 2006. And we are learning all the time more about him, about the time he spent in Germany and about his views, including in his own words. In 2019, he did an interview with the BBC, with BBC Trending, and he talked not about his work, but about what he did in his free time.
My name is Taleb. I'm from Saudi Arabia. I'm an activist. I created a website to help people seeking asylum, especially from Saudi Arabia and the Gulf region. If I have time...
5 years ago, Taleb al-Abdel-Mohsen described how he spent his free time helping people.
90% of people who approach me are women between 18 and 30 years old.
Now he's been charged with killing 5 people at Magdeburg's Christmas market, speeding a powerful car through the packed alleys between the stalls, causing terror and panic. He was arrested at the scene, this video showing armed police telling him not to move from the ground. He made the journey to Magdeburg from this quiet town where he lives, Bernburg, around 25 miles away, and more detail is coming to light about his background and his views. He came to Germany from Saudi Arabia nearly 20 years ago and works at this clinic as a psychiatrist. Ulrika's relative is being treated here. She was shocked when she heard the link.
Yes, I was very shaken. It's horrified. It's terrible. It's make me sad. It's make my whole family is very sad, and everything I know is sad.
From his home on this peaceful street, Taleb al-Abdel-Mohsen built an online presence which will be key to the police's investigation. In 2019, he spoke to a German newspaper about what he called his activism, telling them, "I'm history's most aggressive critic of Islam. Just ask any Arab if you don't believe me." Attention is now turning to safety and security, whether this market was protected enough and whether authorities had any warnings that Taleb al-Abdel-Mohsen may have posed a threat. Germany is waiting for the answers. Anna Foster, BBC News, Bernburg.
The BBC has found that a Church of England priest with a history of child sexual abuse allegations was twice reappointed to a senior position when the current Archbishop of York, Stephen Cottrell, was the Bishop of Chelmsford. A woman who says she was groomed by David Tudor has described the renewals of his contract as an insult to all of his victims. Harry Farley reports.
David Tudor was an area dean in charge of 12 parishes in Essex when Stephen Cottrell took over as the Bishop of Chelmsford in 2010.
And the children are allowed...
But Tudor was banned from being alone with children and in the late 80s had been jailed for the indecent assault of 3 underage girls. The convictions were quashed on a technicality, and after a 5-year ban, he was allowed back to minister as a priest. Stephen Cottrell was fully briefed on the concerns about Tudor, but he was not suspended until 9 years later in 2019 when a fresh police investigation was opened. The now Archbishop of York previously said the situation he faced was horrible and intolerable, but there were no legal grounds to act earlier. What we can now reveal is David Tudor was reappointed twice in 2013 and 2018 into his senior role as area dean. At both points, Stephen Cottrell was the bishop with overall responsibility and knew that David Tudor had paid £10,000 to a woman who says she was sexually abused by him from the age of 11. One of David Tudor's victims, who did not want to be identified, said these were not the actions of a bishop dealing with a situation that was intolerable to him. She reiterated her calls on the Archbishop of York to resign. A spokesperson for Stephen Cottrell said he accepts responsibility for David Tudor remaining as area dean, acknowledges this could have been handled differently, and said that no one advised him that David Tudor should not continue as area dean. This morning, the Bishop of Newcastle said Archbishop Cottrell's expressions of regret did not square with his actions, but other bishops are not joining her calls for him to stand down.
I know that Archbishop Stephen is a conscientious and honourable and prayerful man, and he will have been thinking deeply about what his best course of action is. And I really don't think it's for me to second guess in public what he should do. And I also feel, safeguarding is much too serious a matter for all the attention to be focused on that kind of question.
Weeks after the Archbishop of Canterbury was forced to resign, the Church of England heads into Christmas with mounting calls for his number 2 to do the same. Harry Farley, BBC News.
The US military says one of its Navy jets was accidentally shot down over the Red Sea in a so-called friendly fire incident. An FA-18 Super Hornet was hit by a missile fired from the US carrier group. Both pilots safely ejected. It happened as US strikes targeted Houthi rebels in Yemen. For the past 13 months, the Houthis have been attacking shipping in the Red Sea and firing missiles and drones at Israel in what they say is support for Gaza. More flights have been cancelled at Heathrow Airport as strong winds continue to disrupt the Christmas getaway. The airport said around 100 flights in and out had been affected. Ferries in western Scotland have also been cancelled because of the weather, and the Humber Bridge has been closed to some vehicles. Let's go live now to Heathrow and our correspondent there, Simon Jones. Simon, how's it looking?
Well, after travel experts called it Frantic Friday, followed by Snarl Up Saturday, I'm afraid for many people trying to get around today, it's not proving to be much of a smoother Sunday. I've just been down to Terminal 5. It is busy. Flights are taking off, but around 15,000 people won't be able to go where they wanted to today because of those cancellations. Heathrow says because of the strong winds, it's having to allow more time between flights. It's not just flights are affected. Dover-Calais ferries have been delayed. Also, ferries between Northern Ireland and Scotland have been cancelled. ScotRail has introduced speed restrictions on its railway lines. And of course, millions of people are taking to the roads today to visit family and friends or to do a bit of last-minute Christmas shopping. Now, weather warnings for strong winds remain in place for much of the UK until 9 o'clock this evening. Tomorrow, the weather is expected to improve, but for those hoping for a white Christmas, the Met Office says it's absolutely not going to happen.
Simon, thank you. In boxing, the British heavyweight Tyson Fury has lost his world title rematch with Alexander Usyk in Saudi Arabia. The Ukrainian boxer won a unanimous points decision to remain undefeated and retain all 3 of his world boxing titles. From Riyadh, Adi Adedoyan sent this report.
Another masterful display by Usyk, heartbreak for Fury. It was a festive ring walk for the challenger. Fury dressed a little like Father Christmas and sporting the bushy beard which caused controversy in the days before the bout. Usyk more warrior-like as he strode purposefully to the ring. Not the fireworks of the first fight, but a classic and compelling contest. Momentum shifting one way, then the next. Fury had moments of success, but Usyk's precision and movement proved the difference. As the heavier Fury tired in the latter stages of the fight, Usyk piled on the pressure with eye-catching combinations to ensure it was his hand raised in victory.
So another close fight and another victory for Alexander Usyk, who confirms his position as the best heavyweight of this era. As for Tyson Fury, it's back-to-back defeats, but he leaves the arena with his head held high.
The fight's done now, it's in the past. I've not got a decision, it is what it is, we move on, and that's it. I go home to my family, I've not seen my kids for 12 weeks. It is what it is, you can't change no decisions. I've done the best I could. If I could have done any more, I would have done, and that's it.
Tyson is a great opponent. It's a big man, it's a tough boxer. It's a good man. Tyson, a lot of talk, yeah? It just show. I am very respect Tyson Fury.
Usyk has won every major title in boxing and shows no signs of slowing down. After 24 close rounds over 2 fights, there's every chance the pair could meet again. Adi Adedoyin, BBC News, Riyadh.
Well, that's all from me. The next news on BBC One is at 5:05. Bye for now.
Live sport on the BBC Today features football from 2 as Everton play Chelsea in the Premier League. Listen to 5 live commentary on BBC Sounds. Well, on BBC 2, the show-jumping World Cup on the final day of the London International Horse Show, and that's live from 2:30.